decentralized applications, smart contracts, and minimum commission for validators. All of that around the Terra Luna ecosystem. We're going to be diving into exactly what all that means. If you are wanting to build on our chain, or if you are a validator, or you're just delegating your coins, what does it mean for you? What is all this minimum commission fee? And like we said, building those smart contracts on Luna Classic. How do you apply for that? Well, all of that in this video and more. We'll take a look at the price. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate every single one of you. We are heading up to 14,000 subscribers. Absolutely crazy. So please support the channel. Hit that like button as well as you're going. And let's get into this. So currently the market is hovering around the 992 to 995 billion. Everybody called a pullback and we are yet to see it. Bitcoin 21.2 up 0.38% on the day. ETH just having a little pullback, 1574. And as we go down the list, you can see it's a bit of a mixed bag. We have some green, some red, some moving significantly. Polkadot 3%, some going the other way. Solana down 2.17 after that absolutely insane ride up. Cosmos marginally down just 1%. And as we kind of come down the list, you'll see as we get into the 30s, ApeCoin pulling back a little bit. Filecoin though making some moves. And then as we get up to the 45th highest ranked cryptocurrency out there, Terra Luna Classic, currently sitting at 176 as the price. $1,051 million is the market cap and $109 million. Now, if you haven't checked my video around the Binance burn and how that attributes to volume, I'll leave a link to that in the description. And likewise, if you want to get yourself some Luna Classic for free or to trade it, head on over to Mexi, use the link in the description. You're going to get yourself some discounted trading fees as well as some free Luna Classic and up to $9,000 in bonuses. So definitely go and check it out. Right. Let's talk decentralized applications and utilities. So if you don't know, Demon Monkey, one of the key players in the space and certainly a massive supporter of Luna Classic and is one of the marketing kind of people for the tier 1, the L1 task force. And now we have decentralized application utilities that are running or will be running smart contracts on Luna Classic chain. Please follow the link below and fill out the impact survey. This survey is in regards to the Columbus 6 upgrade from the layer 1 task force we know, which is coming. So again, this is for anyone that's building or what you want to build on. So we've seen a couple of projects come on successfully burning supply, and it's a simple form that you can fill in, but what it does do is make sure that we have a structure to how to build projects onto this ecosystem. So you can see there the impact analysis on upgrading Cosmosm to 1.1.1. The Terra Classic Layer 1 team wants to collect some background information in order to evaluate how to proceed with various dependency maintenance tasks on the Terra Classic chain, specifically related to all smart contracts and DApp builders. So this is a nod to actually, we're serious about getting people to build on our ecosystem. We want to make sure that everything is set for you to come over and build simply. Remember, Tobias talked about, or Zaradar talked about how he's going to make it easy and simple for applications to come and build on the Luna Classic network. And everything we have to do is about removing supply and building our ecosystem out. So I'm not going to go through the whole form. It's a pretty straightforward form, but again, it does give some real specifics in terms of what they did, when they did it, and more importantly, what they want to do. So you can see there prior to UST DPEG event, since the UST DPEG event, during what periods of your project being a smart contract. And again, if you're a project that's thinking about launching on Luna Classic, and we are seeing NFT projects come back to us, as well as some more kind of obvious decentralized applications, then, you know, come and fill the form in, get over there, because ultimately it supports the longevity and the ecosystem of Terra Luna Classic. Now, let's get into this one, because this one's a pretty interesting one. So raise the validator minimum commission fee to 5% and lower the validator maximum voting power to 10%. So off the bat, what do these mean? Well, ultimately, this is supporting a fee-based model to support the validators. So what we have is ultimately a battle for your Luna Classic. So you'll see people go to 0% commission, therefore they don't make anything, and some will always sit around 5%. And the lower validator maximum voting power, we see it with all nodes, as well as a number of other validators where they have a significant leverage of their percentage voting. They've got the most amount staked to them. So in summary, what do they want to do? Well, bring in some caps, bring in some maximum and some minimums. You can see here, look, open discussion meant to reopen and revisit the issue of validator maximum voting power and validator minimum commission fees. Currently, MVP is at 20% and the MCF at 0. Both these values are, in our humble opinion, not optimal and calibrated towards the chain's long-term health and growth. They're relics of a previous system and need updating. This thread aims to stimulate an open discussion on the topic. After a minimum of 14 days, the proposal will be sent to the station for voting. Again, great that we have this consensus and this kind of community feel. Sometimes, though, we have to be really mindful and educate in terms of what they look like. So what's the motivation behind it? Well, we'll take specifically the MCF, so the minimum commission fee, and it needs to be increased from 0% to 5%. Otherwise, larger and more affluent validators can play the waiting game while starving out the smaller ones until the latter capitulate, which is already happening. Set wars of this type is not a negative for the chain, since they negatively impact and diminish the currently active validator stacks. So as an example, Allnodes is the #1 validator on Luna Classic. It has a significant amount of money staked with it. What they then do is have a program that allows other validators to launch their program. And what they're sort of saying is, well, Allnodes could say, fine, we're going to starve out the commission. We'll run at a 0% commission, and all of these smaller validators will in effect go out of business. Now, you have to be careful with things like this, because ultimately some of these bigger validators could say, well, okay, we're not going to do it anymore. We're going to move to somewhere else. We're going to go and take our business and go and validate somewhere else. We already know that Shibarium will be launching validators pretty soon. So it's a tentative point that we have to walk through. What I would always say is, what does that look like? I agree validators should cover costs, and I think that's a very different conversation, that actually covering costs is different to generating income. And I think that's a point that I would like to see discussed a bit more detail on this. Does 5% cover the initial cost of running the validator, or does it gain some profit? What do they then do with the profit? Do they burn supply? Ultimately, if we're talking long term of Luna Classic, what's the end goal? What's the ambition? How are they supporting the network, or are they trying to turn a profit? When we take a look specifically at MVP, so remember the maximum voting power, well, this ultimately is about swaying decisions. If you have a significant votage power, you can ultimately sway a decision, or you can, validate to the point where it's all in your favor. Now, we know Allnodes came out and agreed that they would have no more voting power than 10%. So does this require? Maybe, maybe not. It's certainly an interesting topic for discussal, but it says, we propose validator maximum voting power to 10%. We propose validator minimum commission to 5%. So obviously this will go into the voting pool, and if they're passed, that's what will come back. And then we kind of get into, well, let's see what the repercussions of it are. What's my personal opinion on all of this? Again, I think we need to continue building. We need to work on how we burn the supply. And right now, when we take a look at the price of Luna Classic, you can see we currently sit at the 17.6 range with a level of consolidation sideways, RSI trending in the middle. We obviously saw these big spikes with a big sell-off. Again, what is it we want to do? Are we focusing on pushing price? Are we focusing on removing circulating supply? And again, what we don't want to do is make bad decisions. Like I said, it's great that we have this community voting process. Sometimes though, like we saw with the 1.2, the 0.2, the 150k for Terra Rebels, the reminting can have a detriment effect to it. The last thing we want to do is force an agenda, and Allnodes then spit, the dummy out and say, okay, do you know what? We're not going to do that. Even other validators that have burnt significant number of Luna Classic. And if we take a look at Luna Penguins, we can actually see how many of these have burnt across there. And again, I would ask and, point out that some validators haven't burnt a single thing, and some committed that they would. And that's what we've got to question. So you can see here, look, currency 365 burning 1 million, 2.6 from Lunc DAO. Again, you can see there, they've the 5th highest burner of Luna Classic at 434 million coins. As you come down, we see Terra Casino, we see Happy Catty Crypto, we see Amazing Crypto. So again, are these the ones that you signed up to? Are these the ones that committed to burn, and are they actually burning? All of that we have to take into account. But let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of all of these proposals? Do you think it's the right thing to talk about this? I'm interested to know your opinion. As ever though, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, turn that notification bell on to keep up to date with everything Luna Classic, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.